But to make matters worse, I feel like I'm the only one who likes this movie. Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH, and welcome to what'll probably be the only review on YouTube for the 4K UHD release of The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, I just want to say, when I really enjoy a movie, I can't help myself. I'll get higher-end releases of a film, I'll get t-shirts of a film, I'll want to get a poster of it. And the movie for 2023 that I found myself really enjoying was The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Especially now that a little bit of time has gone by. You know, in 2023 we had Renfield with Nicolas Cage and Last Voyage of the Demeter, the two Dracula movies of that year. And to be honest with you, at first I enjoyed Renfield more, but as time has gone on and I've had some time to go back and watch the films a couple times, Last Voyage is the one I prefer. It just works for me. I mean, when we talk about the character of Dracula, we have seen so many iterations of the slicked-backed hair Dracula with the suave kind of look and everything. And what I loved about Last Voyage was we really get to see a movie's worth of that scene from Bram Stoker's Dracula where he turns into that huge monster bat. But in this movie, he's like that the entire time. So, I mean, for me, that's just like when I want that gritty, nasty fix for vampire stuff, Last Voyage works for me. And I also forgot that David Dastmalchian was in this because he has like a beard on and has an accent, and I forget, I mean, the guy's an actor, so not everything I see him in, he's going to look and sound exactly like, you know, Late Night with the Devil, which is the most recent thing I've seen him in. The thing about Last Voyage of the Demeter is, like, I am guilty as charged when it comes to not going to the theater as often or as much as I should. It's just true. When I heard about this movie, I couldn't wait. I even did the full gambit on this one. I ordered a mini Pizza Hut pizza, a big old Coke. I sat there front row, well, not front row, but pretty close to the front row, and we just took the movie in. When it comes to the story of Dracula, we've seen a lot of different iterations of different parts from the book. And when you go to the stuff about the boat with the Demeter, in a lot of movies, like, for instance, Dracula 79, it is the aftermath that we see. We see the boat come up to shore with bodies laid waste on the ship. And there was a show on Netflix from 2020 called Dracula, which was fantastic, by the way. But in that one, Dracula is the smooth, suave guy on the boat himself, and he's just, you know, meticulously taking out bodies left and right. On Last Voyage of the Demeter, we get that bat gargoyle look, just raising hell on the ship. Everybody's aware he's there, and it's just try to survive. I can't think of too many films in the Dracula lore that actually approach the Demeter part the way this movie has. To be honest with you, at first, the idea of doing a movie about just the ship part seemed kind of lame to me, but when I saw the trailer, before I stopped watching trailers, they got me. I thought the trailer for this looked fantastic. So, I really like this movie, but to make matters worse, I feel like I'm the only one who likes this movie. I don't know what it is. Like, some of the things I would hear about this movie was that it's slow or that it was boring, which, if somebody says it's boring, it's like, I guess I can't really have too much of an argument towards that. Like, what I find boring, it could be different from what you find boring, but slow was the interesting one to me because, you know, besides the beginning exposition, once we get on the ship and we know Dracula's on that ship, it is just scene after scene of suspense to me, and I thought the production design of this movie felt gigantic, and I remember seeing this on the big screen. The boat seemed enormous, plus you're out in the middle of the ocean, so the scope of the movie to me felt gigantic. I really enjoy it. To me, Last Voyage is a 4-star film. I really love the cast, and I love the Dracula performance in here. I love the look of the character. It is menacing. It is like something out of hell, and it is very foreboding. It's funny because there's a lot of shadowy scenes that you would really see from like the original Nosferatu in here, and I'm sure there was some love letter type things done on purpose in here for that, but suspense-wise and design-wise, I like this movie a lot. But there were some problems with this movie, and unfortunately they are stylistic problems that will not only affect the original Blu-ray that came out for this movie, which of course I did buy, but as well as this release. So with that being said, let me just get into this briefly. I got the special version of this because I really wanted a poster of The Last Voyage of the Demeter to hang up in here. I'm going to put it right over there in one of my Scream Factory poster sections where I have those, and I got the kind that gets the new artwork, which I do like that. Of course, if you just get the 4K standard-wise, this is the slipcover you're going to get, which I like both of them, but I do like that. I like that image of Dracula and everything on the front, so I got that early. I pre-ordered it from Scream Factory themselves. Now, what's the problem with this 4K? Let me get to the positives of this, and then I'll get to the negatives of this. But it's not just subject to the 4K. This is subject, in my opinion, to streaming on the Blu-ray, on the Blu-ray 4K from here. It doesn't matter. It's just a movie thing. So the positives. When the movie opens up and we are getting ready to board the ship and it's bright daylight, the thing about this that I liked was there was a extreme level of sharpness and detail, and the colors were fantastic. The Blu-ray for this movie, especially like the standard one, has a good, clean, crisp image. There's honestly nothing really wrong with the Blu-ray of The Last Voyage of the Demeter, but this one, the sharpness was really, really exceptional. So I was like, okay. I mean, because honestly, I didn't think this was going to be that impressive, but when I started the movie, I was like, this looks really good. I'm pretty impressed by the image quality of this. The problem with The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and I kind of really knew this before going into this, but here's just the reality. The nighttime scenes in this movie, which is a lot of the movie, is just filmed extremely dark. And I'm not talking about Friday the 13th 4K kind of dark. I mean, the movie scenes are just dark. You have to shut off every stinking light in the room you're in. It has to be pitch black. Now, the 4K helps a little bit with the sharpness and the definition of the image, so things have a little bit more a clarity while viewing the film, but still, this movie is just dark as night. I wish they would have gone back to the drawing board initially when they were color timing this, or even kind of redone it a little bit when this 4K came out. And I know that may sound like a grandiose idea, but I do remember Godzilla 2014, when it got its 4K, they kind of went back to the drawing board on that, and the nighttime sequence on that 4K made a huge difference in the movie. Like Godzilla 2014 in 4K was a huge improvement in terms of the picture quality. The nighttime stuff was defined very, very well, and it was crystal clear. Unfortunately for the Demeter, everything at the nighttime stuff, it's just dark. And like I said, it's not a Scream Factory problem. It is not a 4K problem. It is the same thing on the standard Universal Blu-ray. The nighttime scenes are just dark, guys. So that's that. It's not unwatchable by any means, but like it is just a little too dark for anybody's liking, quite frankly. And the Dolby Atmos soundtrack on here rocked the house. The movie sounded phenomenal, so that was a great improvement in my opinion. In terms of the picture quality and sound I'll give a 9 out of 10. Picture quality, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not something I'm going to blame Scream Factory on, and Scream Factory, I don't know if they actually did this 4K themselves or if they just got the masters from Universal, because on the back of this, it says 4K presentation from the original Elements. So because this is a new film, my gut says that they probably just got, you know, a 4K master from the studio themselves. They probably thought maybe it's not something we need to go back and do again. That would cost a lot of money. Plus, it's a new film. It's probably already, you know, situated to be ready for a 4K release. So at least that's my thinking. I'm not an expert in that kind of stuff, or I don't really have the answers to that per se, but that's what I think happened. The reality is you can do one or two things here. You can just stream the movie to see if you like it, because odds are a lot of people probably still haven't seen this movie. Or you can pick up the Blu-ray from Universal, probably really cheap if you want to be able to catalog and own the movie in your collection, which is something I love doing. I love cataloging titles in the horror genre in here. Or if you want to see the movie that's going to still look a little dark at night, or a little too dark at night, but have really great HDR and color and sound in the daytime sequences of the film, then the 4K would work for you. But the reality is, I think most of you out there will probably just settle for the Universal Blu-ray if you can get it for $9 or $10. This is obviously a super fan thing that I did. I wanted to get this. I knew what I was probably getting into, but I had a shred of hope that I was going to get a Godzilla 2014 thing going on here. But I don't think this is necessarily any fault of Scream Factory or anything. This is just the way this movie was made. Those nighttime sequences, guys. It's a shame because, I mean, Dracula in this movie is fantastic. He is menacing and I love it. But in terms of special features on this release, let's go look at what we got. Okay, so on disc 1, we have the 4K presentation from Original Elements. We have Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. We have a new audio commentary with David Desmalchian, a new audio commentary with film critic Megan Navarro, which I listened to half of the David Desmalchian commentary, and he's very engaged. He's very informative. He's always pleasant to listen to. So the Desmalchian commentary on here that was new was really good. And an audio commentary with the director Andre Overdahl and producer Bradley J. Fisher. Now on disc 2, we have the same things I just mentioned with the new commentaries. But also on here, we have a new folklorist and author, Dr. Karen Stahl-Snow, on vampires and the last voyage of the Demeter, which was a pretty interesting little listen. I don't think it's necessarily something that's going to make anybody watching this say, oh my god, now I have to get that release. But for what it's worth, it was pretty entertaining, as well as the audio commentaries with the directors. And then we have the, I say legacy features, but basically the stuff that was on the previous standard Universal Blu-ray, the alternate openings, deleted scenes from the Pits of Hell, Dracula Reimagined, Evil Aboard, the making of the last voyage of the Demeter, Dracula, and Digital Age featurette. So guys, like I said, this is what the 4K looks like. There is the new artwork, but if you just get this standard, that's the slipcover you're going to get. The artwork on the case is, in fact, right here, which is the same of the standard slipcover. There is no reversible art. Of course, I did check. And you have your 2 discs. The 4K is in the player right now. On one disc, you get the art that's on the standard Blu-ray. And the other art on the 4K disc, it's basically the ship bow with Dracula on top of it. The 4K disc art is really, really nice. I'll give them credit there. So here's the God's honest truth. I don't really recommend this to anybody to just get unless you are aware of the look and style of this movie, like you've streamed it before, and you do enjoy the film a lot, and you can just deal with those nighttime sequences, and you want to see the film, at least during all the daytime stuff, look really, really good, because that's where the money's at. Those daytime sequences with the color was so vibrant, all that looked fantastic. But the nighttime stuff, it's just dark any way you go. Any way you go. So, honestly, I'd recommend checking the film out on Peacock, I think is where it's at. I just want people to see the film above anything else. I loved Last Voyage of the Demeter, but if you can, get that Blu-ray for 10 or 11 bucks when it gets that cheap, if it's not already that cheap. You probably can't go wrong if you just want to be able to catalog the film. But there you have it, guys. Last Voyage of the Demeter. At least you know now. I mean, I had a little bit of hope that maybe those nighttime sequences would be a little bit better, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for watching. This is your old pal CHH, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.